I'm back yet again to do another water mixable oil lesson. It appears that you're kind of liking it. So anyway, my name is Yovette. Let's just go get started. Well, as you can see, I'm using thinner and linseed oil for my medium in this painting. And what I did is I put a half a teaspoon of thinner and 6 drops of linseed oil in this little cap, and then I just swish it around to make it all blend together. And that for this size painting is just absolutely perfect. So now I want to get a horizon line, so I'm taking this cool little ruler, one of my favorite rulers, and I just want to make a small line just a little below center, which is just a perfect place for it. With my blue shop towel, now I just want to dip into my medium, and I'm just going to spread this around over my canvas. I just want a nice little thin coat. I don't want it too heavy because I don't want the paint to slip around on it. Just a nice thin coat. And then that's perfect right there. So with my 1/2 inch flat brush, I'm just going into a little bit of that medium first. Just dip it and pick up some white paint and a little bit of yellow, because I'm going to make this sky, I think, a very nice bright sky, but at the same time a very pretty pastel sky. So now in the center here, I just want to add more white. I want this to really kind of glow. Again, my throat is funny, so I'll be coughing a little bit. And these are my paints today. Now I'm using something new. This is COBRA. And gosh, I found them very, very interesting compared to the Artisan. They were totally different in the feel and in the texture. The COBRA paints are, gosh, they're very smooth and a lot softer than the Artisan. But I tell you what, I like the Artisan better because they are thicker, heavier paint. They're more like the Bob Ross, and that's what I'm used to. So I definitely like the Artisan. And it'll just take me some getting used to working with this COBRA. So anyway, I have here, I'm mixing alizarin crimson with just a very small touch of blue. I just want to make this purplish color. And the reason is because I'm going to be adding blue to the sky. And when I put blue and yellow together, what color does that make? That's right, it makes green. So I don't especially want any green in the sky today, so that's why I opted to do the purple in the middle. And as you'll see, this works out really great. So let's add some blue now. I want to phase into that blue color, and just putting that in the upper right hand corner. That's not quite dark enough. Let's add some more blue to that. And if your paint's dragging a little bit, just dip into that thinner. That'll really make it go on a lot smoother. So I still need more paint here. And you see the brushes I'm using today is very simple. It's just 2 flat brushes, a liner brush, and a little itty bitty round miniature brush. And I also have that bunny brush for blending, which is a wonderful brush to have. If you don't have one, you need to get one. Or use a makeup brush. That'll work also if you have a makeup brush. Anyway, I want to blend in a little bit of this red and alizarin and blue, and I'm just making a purplish color underneath the sky, blending all the way to the left and right, and then slowly going up into the sky, blending that color right in. I wanted a sky that had a lot of variety of color and not just one solid color, so I really like the way this turned out. I think it's very, very pretty. So just blend until you like it the way it should be. And now with the 1/2 inch brush, I'm just lightly going across the top, just kind of smoothing everything over. and give that a little wipe. And now with the bunny brush, this is what really makes the difference. This just blends the colors together absolutely beautifully. It just makes it so smooth and just lovely. So I really like that purple down here. That's a very interesting color. So let's grab a little white and just a touch of blue. I'm still using that small brush and the flat brush, and I just want to make a little lavender color in the sky, like there's just some little clouds kind of floating by. I don't want to make them real obvious. I'm just putting in very lightly just a little bit of that purplish color. And that is perfect. Now I want to just give that brush a good clean. Every once in a while, when I'm using water mixables, I like to just clean the brushes. It just, you know, dip them in water. But when you're through dipping in water, just make sure you blot them really, really, really dry. Now, with the small 1/4 inch flat brush, I'm going into the white, and I just want to make a nice round sun. So you just hold your brush flat into the canvas, flat down, and just give it a twirl. And that will make almost a perfect round circle. I just want that sky to have that little burst of light in there. I think that's pretty cool. So now back to my 1/2 inch flat brush. I just dipped it in water, and now I blotted it really, really dry. Again, I'm going into some white, and I want to make kind of a deeper color now of lavender or purple. So I've got my blue and my red. I'm just mixing these two together. And I'm just going to start going across where the horizon line would be, so that there's a differential between the water and the sky. Just going back and forth. So that I want to lighten that as I come down. And just go all the way across. Just blend those colors together. So I've been using these water mixables. I've been playing with them now for, probably a month and a half. And gosh, I can't tell you, I really, really, really love them. The cleanup is fantastic, and the smell is wonderful. I think that's probably the thing I like the most about it, is the smell and the cleanup, other than they're easy to work with. So I'm adding blue to the sky here, or excuse me, the blue to the water. Just blending that in. A good amount of blue. And just blend that into the purple. These colors just blend so nice. I'm just really tickled pink with them. Okay, I'm blotting the brush, and now I just want to pick up a little bit of yellow, because I want to put yellow in the water on the right hand side. Yellow and the blue will make a greenish color, and that's exactly what I want. Excuse me, a sip of tea time. Sorry. Okay, dipping into my medium again, and some more blue. I just want to make this a little bit of a greenish color, and then add some alizarin. And these three colors will make a very, very nice brown. So I want to add some little hills in the background here, because I think that would really look nice. It just kind of separates the the sky and the water. And so I'm putting a light coat on here, and I'm just using my flat brush and just kind of wiggling and just making a shape that's pleasing to me. You can add these mountains if you want, and if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can make them any shape you want and as big or as small as you want. I just keep adding to my mix here. And let's have one over on this side, a little bit in the middle, and a bigger one on the left side. Just up and down, whatever shape you like. I decided to go with a little bit softer on this because I thought that would look nice. So let's pull a little bit of this down into the water. And I want to pull down some shadow. Whoops, a little bit darker. Yeah, that's a little better. Let's just go all the way across and pull in that dark. And lightly, very lightly, just bring your brush across. And that makes nice, mild reflections. So now I want to make a deeper color. I want to put in some shadow color in these hills. So it is not just flat. I want a little bit of variety of color here. It doesn't take very much, just a little bit, and really puts a nice shadow in there. We definitely need some on this side. Just patting, tapping, whatever. Just add that darkness wherever you think it needs to be added. So this is turning out really nice. I love the colors. I'm just so tickled pink with them. Okay, dipping into my medium some more and adding blue to my little mix here. Let's start adding blue to the water underneath that lavender color. Just going all the way across and then blending lightly, lightly up into the purple. Softly blending. Now that my brush is feeling really dry, it's dragging, so I know it's time for more medium. You'll get used to the feel. It takes a little bit of time to really start working with these paints to know what they feel like. They are different than the others, you know, regular oil paints. So now let's go back to that lavender color, because like I say again, I wanted variety of color in this scene, in this little seascape. So I don't want just all one flat color. So I'm finding that by adding all these different colors, it adds a lot of interest. So back to the yellow. See if we can bring that green out a little bit more. Yeah, that's good, because then it looks like the sun is hitting there a little bit too. And that's what I want. So now into my brownish color, I'm just going to add some yellow, alizarin crimson, some white, and those three colors pretty much will make a nice sandy color. More medium, I can feel it's dry. Oh yeah, that's pretty. That's just exactly what I wanted. That nice sandy color. And I'm just going right up to the water. So I want to make that a little bit deeper now. So more alizarin, more yellow, or not alizarin, I'm sorry, I keep saying alizarin, it's not. I'm so used to working with alizarin that that's why I did that. So that's why I say that, but this is just red. I think it's called Pyrrole red. Anyway, I want a deeper color in the foreground, and I'm just blending up into the other color. And just make that nice and smooth. Just blend up right to the edges. Lightly go across. And now let's mix even a darker color. This time I'm adding blue, and blue really darkens the shade. Now see how I'm just putting this in the corner? By putting this in the corners, what it does is it draws your eye more into the center of the painting. And so that's what you want to do. Now that's looking very, very nice. I like that. So now I'm just going to put just the slightest little bit of highlight on these distant hills or mountains, whatever you want to call them. Just where the sun would be shining on them, they would be just a little bit lighter, they would be highlighted. And I want to do this on both sides, just a little bit. So now I've got some dark in there in the distant hills and some light. I don't want it too obvious, so be sure and blend that light color in. They're too far in the distance to be standing out too much. Okay, now back to my dark color, the red and the blue. And let's just go ahead and let's make a rock here. I just want something more in this corner that will kind of block your eye from going off the edge. So just lightly tapping and bringing some of that rock in. And again, I'm just using my flat brush. And the brown and the blue and the yellow can make the nicest colors. Did you know that the brown and the yellow and the blue even make black in the right combination? I thought that was brilliant. I've been playing with the colors, trying to figure out what's what and how to make this and that and the other thing. And boy, that amazed me that you could make almost a black just using those three colors. I didn't think that was possible. I've never studied color theory before. This working with color is something brand new to me, so it's taking me a while to get used to it, but I'm loving it. I really am. It's taking a lot of time, but what do I have besides time, right? Nothing. I have a lot of time on my hands. So anyway, these are turning out very nice. The rocks are two different levels. I've got one setting right on the corner and then one setting back a little bit. So now I'm back to making my darker color. And I want to add some shadows into the rocks. Just nice deep shadows. They would be very dark towards the bottom here. And the more blue you add, the darker it gets. So let's go to the other side. Put some dark in there, especially in the corner. And that's perfect. That is perfect. You know, this little painting reminds me of Brookings, Oregon. It's a coastal town. And I'll tell you, my husband and I, we used to pack up our RV and we'd load it with food and just art supplies and just, you know, whatever. Just pack up for a nice long weekend or several days and go over to the Brookings coast. And there was this one RV spot that we really liked. It was actually right on the water, which is just fabulous. And so sometimes my sister and her husband would pack up their camper and they'd go with us. And Paula and I would run around and we'd go on the beach and we'd take a bag with us and we'd pick up all kinds of rocks for rock painting, because she and I really like to do a rock painting every now and then. But this one day, this first day that I was there, I had just bought a new Samsung tablet. And I was walking along the beach and I came up from the stones, the rocks were on the beach, and I tripped and fell on the cement. And oh, I was just heartbroken. My tablet went spewing across the cement, face down. I skinned up my knees, I skinned up my hands, and well, I wasn't really hurt except for my pride. But my poor tablet had scratches all over it, and the whole face of the tablet had scratches. I was so sad about that. But those things happen. You just have to get on with life, right? So anyway, yeah, it didn't really hurt the tablet that bad. I could still turn it on and I could still see what was on there. But yeah, that was really sad for me, especially being only that tablet. I had just bought it the day before we left, so it was like brand new and no way to get a refund. Oh. Anyway, with my liner brush, let's make birdies. We have to have birdies, you all know that. So a little bit of blue, I'm going into my dark brown color, but a little blue, crimson, and brace your hand so that your hand is supported when you make these little guys. And just two over here, and how about one right here? Oh, perfect. Yes, I like that. Okay, back to my small flat brush. And I just want to mix up my three colors again. And what I decided is that these mountains they have to have more reflection in the water. The water is very smooth, and so you would see a lot more reflection. So I'm just darkening this side. And let's go to the other side. I want to darken this side also. I think that'll be so much more pleasing to the eye to have those shadows in there. Yeah, you don't want them too dark, and they should have just kind of a little purplish tint to them. Yeah, that's good. Now just blend that out a little bit if it needs blending. You could also use the little bunny brush if you'd rather use that. So this is where the painting's at so far. Now this was really a fun experiment, and I've done this before. I've used this before, but I thought I'd share it with you. This is just a plastic, you know, one of those, what do you call them? You know, it's a holder and a plastic protector, 3-ring binder. And what I did is I took a photo and then I printed it out and I put it in this plastic folder. And then what you can do, and I did this, I played around with all different kinds of things before I decided what I really wanted on this painting. But you can paint right on the plastic. And then when you're done, you just wipe it off. It's just so easy, and you can play a lot take a lot of your ideas and just put them on that plastic, and you have not ruined your painting. I do that a lot because I don't always know what I want to do next in a painting, so that's why I did that. So now we want to just start, and I decided on those 3 little ships. There were 3 little sailboats, I should say. Again, bracing your hand, and I just made a light, kind of a very light blue mix. It's still lighter than the water, but just a light blue for the sails, and just kind of make like a little triangle. And let's do another one right here, right here. This one's more in the distance, so it's going to be smaller. And then I want one that's fairly close to that one, that is just a little bit larger, but not as large as the one on the right. Again, a little small triangle. Use enough medium so that your paint slides easy. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. Get yourself a good pointy brush for this, something that has a really good point on it. This brush I'm using isn't the greatest. I wish it was a little better, but I'm going to shop around. I'm going to get a new set of miniature brushes fairly soon, so I can do some more of this like fine detailed work. So now with just a pure white, I just want to highlight the tops of these sails. So just a little, bring it to a point and just touch the very tops of the sails. And that'll bring it out a little bit more. It'll bring them out. Perfect. Okay, let's go back into our dark color, the brown. Get a nice little mix of that. And twirl your brush so it comes to a nice point. And let's put a boat underneath the sails. Now this will be a small one. It's so far in the distance that you just will hardly see it. So this can't be too bright or too dark. So just a little bit under each sail. Clean that brush off now. Add a little more white to your brush, twisting to a point. And let's just put a little bit of shadow underneath each of these sailboats. Yeah, I like that. Oh, this is turning out so cute. So I hope you guys are liking it. And if you're liking this video, would you do me a favor and just hit that like button and that share button? That way YouTube knows that I am doing a halfway decent job and they will promote my videos more. Boy, that really helps me out too. So if you do that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, just a little more of a point on these. Yeah, that's better. See now how they stand out so much better? Okay, now back into my dark mix. I want to add the blue. This is going to be a very dark color. And let's add 2 little people. So the first little person is probably a female. So I'm just making little dots, dashes, just to make a figure of a person, and it has a little head. Now this second person is probably going to be a man, and he is going to be a little bit larger. So just little dabbing, come down narrow towards the bottom at the feet, because usually your shoulders are broad and your feet are narrow. So put a little head on top. That's perfect. And I'm wiping off my brush because I don't want a lot of paint. You'll see where my sun is coming? Well, your shadow would be just opposite your sun. So just pull out a small shadow on both these little people. Yeah, this turned out very nice. I'm very pleased with it. I like the COBRA paints for this kind of painting. When I do a lot of blending and do a lot of pretty pastel colors, I think the COBRA paints are wonderful. But like I said, I still like the Artisan better, I think, for a lot of stuff. I'm going to be experimenting with a lot of the Bob Ross paintings, and I'm going to try and work with mountains and see how the COBRA works using a palette knife. I have not done that yet, but that's something I want to do. So anyway, this is the painting, the finished painting. I think it turned out lovely. I'm going to leave you with a few videos to watch. And I love doing this painting, and I thank you for watching me, and I see you next time.